Yeah, of course, there's a lot more intensity, especially going into this week. I think everybody's been winning this game the whole year. But as far as where we are as a team, I think we're going to approach this week the same as how we approach every week. And I think when teams get too over themselves and get too overexerted, I think that's where you screw up.
What's your take on Tua?
Really good player, solid, phenomenal. He throws the ball really well. And I feel like we also have a good secondary to, compromise that. And so I feel like it's going to be a good battle this week.
Pressure is the key?
Very much. I think we got to get to them early and often, no matter where it comes from, the linebackers or the defensive line. We got to rattle them.
How's your arm doing?
Oh, it's great. Feel like I'm at 200% right now.
Braden, coach was asked just a comparison to Tua because obviously Alabama really hasn't seen a quarterback like that under Saban. He tossed out Mike Vick. That was just one that came to mind for him. Is there any quarterback that he pops out to you as similar to whenever you watch him on film?
Russell Wilson. Undersized kind of guy for the quarterback position, but makes a lot of plays. Throws the ball really well, and when he needs to make plays on his feet, he'll do it. And so, like I said early and often, we got to get to him. We got to limit the big plays, force a lot of 3-and-outs, and get our offense on the field and get that time of possession in our favor.
It seemed like that dude kind of showed up out of nowhere, obviously here stateside. Is he somebody that Polynesian people have known about for a while and have kind of kept tabs on?
Yeah, I mean, he's ever since high school, he's always been, really talented. As a young kid, we went to camps together, and so I remember in 6th grade when he was young, we'd always go to camps, and Tua would win like the MVP of the quarterback position, and he was like 6th grade, and we were doing camps with high schoolers. So I always knew Tua would be talented. Comes from a talented family, great parents, and so he's on the right track. I've expected this though.
What do you think is his best attribute?
He's humble. I think he's a real student of the game. I think he takes the game really serious. When I say student of the game, he's in the film room. He does things the right way.
How has practice been without Devin? Have you guys been focusing on practicing without him so you'll be ready on Saturday?
It's been the next man up, and so Patrick or whoever it is going to be back there. They haven't skipped a beat. They've been coming to practice full speed, being more attentive in meetings, and so that's what you need. You kind of don't want to feel the emotional drop off, especially with Devin being out, and so I think Patrick and Coach around in the linebacker room have just done a good job of just, hey, next man up. We're going to keep this thing rolling.
Coach said you guys play better when you're angry, and he coaches better when he's angry. Speaking to the Devin White thing, you guys have had a week and a half here to kind of stew on that, huh?
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
How do you balance that with, like you were saying earlier, about not overthinking this game and playing too aggressively? How do you balance that, those two emotions?
As far as at the beginning of the week, we have a Tell the Truth Monday. We didn't play last week, but we're still going to look at Alabama film, look at our film, and I think the biggest thing, just like every week in the beginning of the season up until now, is you want to focus on yourself, focus on what you can do to go on and get better throughout the week. And then as the week goes on, then you start shifting your focus toward that team. And Coach O and the rest of the coaches have done a great job of keeping our focus the focus, and knowing that when it's the right time to switch it and the right time to turn it on, we turn it on.
Any tendencies you identified self-scouting that you'd like to correct or improve upon?
I think getting better in our 3-man rushes. It's tough. You have 3 versus 5. You're going to get double teamed, but I think if we can get better at that and get pressure and even some sacks and 3-man rushes, and when we can drop 8, I think that's phenomenal. I think that's one thing that we as a defensive line can work on this week.
You've played quite a few mobile quarterbacks so far. Do you think that prepared y'all well for Tua? Obviously, he's a much more skilled quarterback, but do you think that prepared y'all?
Yeah, not just quarterback-wise, but I think we faced some real talented teams early and often in the season. When you get tested early like that, you kind of know where you are as a team, and so we faced mobile quarterbacks, whether they were big or they were little. And so, you look at Florida, Franks, and Mississippi State with Fitzgerald, and so big guys, and they're all mobile, and we did fairly well against them, and so we just got to keep it up.
Everybody talks about Tua. Nobody's brought up their running game. Before last year, it was all running game with Alabama. What do they have? Obviously they didn't lose anybody.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is nobody's kind of really seen their running game because they pass the ball a lot, and so it's highly slept on, and that's one thing you still got to prepare for. It's still Alabama. It's still the SEC West powerhouse machine. They're still going to run the ball. That's what we need to do is we need to focus on stopping the pass, and then when we do stop it, now we got to stop the run. They're not just one-dimensional. They don't just pass the ball. They do all the little things well, and so we got to match that this week, and we got to take it to a whole nother level.
You have an opinion on what Garrett means to the offense?
He's a real emotional leader. He's a guy that when he speaks, everybody listens and the room gets quiet. And so it's going to be great to have him back out there, especially in the offensive line.
Is this the biggest test you've ever had as a football player, this game, do you think?
Excuse me?
Is this the biggest test you think you've ever had as a football player, this game?
Yes, sir. I think, the level of focus is turned up a whole notch. I played in big games before. I think, no doubt, by far, this is probably the biggest game that I played in my football career. And so, not just me, but there's a whole bunch of guys in that locker room. This will be the biggest game of their career. But I think not letting it, get too filled in our heads that this is a big game and just treating it, like how we treated Georgia when they came to town, how we treated Auburn, how we treated Miami. You got to treat every point the same and see where it goes from there.
How much do you feel like this LSU team can win in a variety of ways? Because sometimes it's been the defense, sometimes it's been the offense. In the Mississippi State, you're able to really win with Cole Tracy and able to play a certain style in particular. I mean, do you feel like you can play certain styles on a given night and still be able to win?
Yeah, I think that's the blessing of this team is we're able to depend on each other. I forgot who I was just talking to about it, but we benefit each other. When the offense is down, the defense steps up. When the defense is down, the offense steps up. And the special teams with Cole and those guys have been phenomenal all season. And then so it hasn't really made LSU one-dimensional. We've kind of just been more of a balanced team where, we can run the ball, we can pass the ball, we play some good defense, and we have a real solid kicking game, and, the punters too as well. When we learn to feed off each other and when we do peak and we do have our best game, it's going to be scary.
Thanks, Brady.